name is Ragna Bygde, and today we're doing some Prodigy pro tips. Today we're going to talk a little bit about putting, which is for me the most important part of my game, and it really is the difference between a good and a great round, and it is what's going to get your score quite a lot lower. I personally have a very specific routine before I putt, and I think that it's one of the key aspects into becoming a better putter. And I'm going to show you a little bit what I do before I putt and when I putt. The first thing I think about is how I'm lined up. So I will put my foot down, and the part of my leg from my knee and down is going to be angled and lined up with the pole of the basket. And that's kind of a way for me to just make sure that I'm actually facing the basket. Second, I just simply step down where it's kind of comfortable and I can sit down in my routine a little bit and it's just comfortable. And also, one of the most important parts is that I want to be able to step forward. So when I choose where to put my back foot, I just make sure that I have a lot of space to move and it's very well balanced. Second, I don't specifically hold my disc very tight. I hold a somewhat of a feather grip, and it's very loose. I don't grip it very hard. And from here, I will try to move my whole body at the same time forward into the basket rather than stopping before the basket. And that's just a tip that I got when I was young from my dad, to just always continue the motion forward and never stop the motion. So when I do here, I will push forward and into the basket. A really good tip that I learned when I was young was to point at the basket, and I actually learned it from a basketball player. When he shot a shot, he wanted to put his fingers into the basket. Same thing here. I want to move all the way into the basket and then touch it pretty much. So again, push forward and then into the basket. One of the most important things in my game is really breathing. If I don't breathe, I don't putt very well. So as I'm moving forward into the basket, I try to get in control of my breathing, and over here I will breathe in, and as I'm letting the disc go, I will breathe out. And in the beginning, I tried to breathe out quite loud, so I actually knew that I was breathing out, and it's just a way to practice, and it's a very good way for you guys to start too. So basically, I'll just start from here, have a little bounce, and breathe out. And that's how I do it. The second thing that's really important in my game, and I hope in your game too, is to change your disc for the weather. So for example, if it's really windy, I tend to shoot something a lot more stable, and if it's less windy, I'll try to get something less stable. So for example, if it's just normal conditions, nothing fancy, just standard wind, I throw my P4 just full weight. If it is a little bit more windy and I want to have something a little bit more reliable, I throw our 350 lightweight disc. It's actually a PA1, and it's worked really good for me, especially on a windy jump putt. It's been really, really good for me. And then if it's crazy windy like it was kind of last year, I just throw a PA1, a full weight PA1. And it's just, for me, it's almost more a mental thing that when I stand there and I know it's really windy, I'm going to trust a strong disc a lot more than I do with a, for example, flippy disc. So I will throw it better. So that's a really, really good advice for you all. I think we've all struggled probably several times with putting and the mental game of putting, and I have too, we all have, but I'm gonna try to share with you what I think of before I walk up to my putt and what happens if I were to miss a putt. So before every single putt, I try to walk slow. I try to walk slowly up to my disc, and I'll mark it slow and I'll take it back, and then I'll actually step back for a second and I'll just take a deep breath. And that's really just to trick my body into saying that I'm not stressed. I'm fine with this and it's good. And then, like I said, I take a deep breath and I actually close my eyes for a little bit second just to kind of grasp that it's not a big deal. Then I'll do like I showed in my routine, literally the same time, hopefully, and go. And that really makes me feel a lot more secure in my putting, just the whole slowness into it. And I tell myself every time that you got this, and I know I'm talking to myself, but it works. It really does, because when you talk over your head, you don't hear your head and you don't hear your insecurities. Of course, sometimes you do miss a putt and that does get into your head, but a really important thing that I do or try to do when I do miss a putt is to shake it off, find what was good with the putt, and then again tell myself out loud what was good with the putt, and then just try again next time, and never step away from your positive routine, and never ever start sagging and you start feeling depressed and feeling sorry for yourself. Just always have a straight back and always be proud and just do it again and forget about the old one. And that really is what helps me.